Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our transformative webinar, Accelerate Action, Wellness for Women's Empowerment. We are thrilled to have you join us today for an enlightening and inspiring session dedicated to recognizing and celebrating what we call the soft skills that are crucial for women to achieve equality and empowerment. As you know, today is International Women's Day, and it started back in 2017 when the United Nations declared March 8th International Women's Day in recognition of all the achievements of women. As we gather today, we acknowledge that wellness is not merely a state of being, it is a powerful catalyst for change. It is the foundation upon which women can build their confidence, embrace their sensuality, and nurture their minds, bodies, and souls. When women are empowered through wellness, they can unlock their true potential and contribute meaningfully to society. In our pursuit of equality and career growth, it is crucial for women to prioritize wellness. Wellness is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Most of us ignore that. When women are physically, mentally, and emotionally well, they can show up as their best selves in all areas of their lives, including their careers. Conversely, neglecting wellness can have detrimental effects on how women present themselves and perform in their professional roles, and we see this every day. When women are not well, we struggle to effectively manage stress, maintain focus, and sustain the energy needed to excel. We are not likely to foster a supportive and collaborative environment free from negative behaviors such as gossip or undermining if we are not well. On the other hand, when we are not well, stress and dissatisfaction can manifest in negative interactions with our colleagues at work, which can create a toxic work environment and hinder our progress. Today, we are privileged to have an esteemed panel of speakers who will delve into various aspects of wellness and its role in women's empowerment. Our first panelist will explore the profound connection between hair and confidence, understanding how hair can influence our sense of self-worth and confidence is crucial. We will look at the realm of sensuality. Often misunderstood and overlooked, sensuality is an integral part of our human experience. It is the appreciation of our own bodies and the world around us. By reclaiming and celebrating our sensuality, women can develop a deeper sense of self-awareness and love. We will focus on nurturing the mind, body, and soul. In the fast-paced world we live in, it is easy to neglect our own well-being. However, it is truly to be an empowered woman, you must prioritize self-care and holistic wellness. Our panelists will share practical insights to do this. Thank you for being here today. We hope this webinar will provide you with valuable insights, inspiration, and practical tools. Without further delay, I'm now going to introduce our first panelist for the morning. She's Tia Ross. Tia has more than 30 years experience as a life and business strategist. She's a speaker, a coach, and best-selling author. She has been training others how to transform their lives, both personal and physical, and business by using next-level strategies. Theo has shattered glass ceilings, defined expectations, and built an empire from the ground up. Tia is a specialist with a proven track record in consulting, training, and developing community-based mental health programs, and has implemented initiatives. She has a proven track record of growing bottom lines, expanding services, and creating efficient systems that ensure compliance and safety. She's passionate about empowering individuals and organizations to achieve their highest potential through innovative next-level strategies. This is a quote from Lisa Nicholas, CEO of Motivating the Masses. Quote, Tia is a brilliant, compassionate woman who was born to touch lives and share her passion for personal empowerment with the world. She's a change agent, and I could not have found a better person to direct the most meaningful project I've ever created or participated in, motivating the teen spirit. And that's where I met Tia. Tia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sharon, and all the women on this call. This means so much to me today. I just want to say I'm so happy, not just excited, but happy to be here today. With all the things that Sharon said, that was beautiful, Sharon. I just want you all to know there were times in my life when I would have never thought that I would have been a change agent, or I would never thought that I would have helped others go as far and grow as far as I have. You see, one of the things that I've had to do as the oldest daughter in my home was to learn to take care of everybody else. As the oldest granddaughter, I learned quickly how to help around the house, make everybody else successful. I learned these things early on in life. Much like you all, I'm sure that some of you watching here today have some similar experiences with that. And because I learned to take care of everybody else, and there's nothing wrong with it, because as women, we're nurturers. We're natural with this. We love on the people around us. Every time I would learn to take care of others, be it my husband, my children, my family, brothers, sisters, a little bit of me kept being put on the back burner every day, putting me last, even to the point where I would feed everybody, cook everything, and then some nights not even eat or eat very little because I was just exhausted. But one of the things that I did was I kept my dreams and my goals happening for me no matter what. And that's sort of what happens with our life. I know for me, I went through a time where I was so stressed, under so much pressure, that my hair started falling out. I remember one time being in the shower and washing my hair and watching clumps of my hair fall out. And I asked myself, what the heck is this? Where did this come from? And that began to open up this journey to me where I started doing some self exploration and exploring myself and seeing, Tia, you know what? Your nutrition is off because you're feeding everyone else. Your spirit is off because you're exhausted and you fall asleep at night without even getting into your meditation and prayer time. In the morning, your heart rate is jumping because you jump up to help everybody get to where they got to go. And then my heart and soul got to a point of depletion. I was married for 18 years and I divorced. I woke up and found myself having to juggle as a single mom, keep food going, and all the time doing this, I was showing up great for the world. I was traveling nationally, speaking inside of communities, working with people, lifting them up, lifting up their hearts, bringing joy to them, when all inside of me, I was slowly diminishing. I don't know if you're on this call with us today and you expected this or not, but you're in the right place, because this is a discussion that I feel we need to have in order to accelerate ourselves. Sometimes we don't stop to look at all the rough things and the things that we go through that constantly squash us and keep us from moving forward in life. But this community and these women here today, we are able to all come together and talk about this real stuff that's behind all the greatness that we have going on in our life. And I love that, because as a strategist coach and a business coach, a life coach, I always say that we can't have personal without business, and we can't have business without personal, because at some point, the two are going to spill over into each other. You're going to show up in the office as the CEO, but have a lot going on in the background in your life. There's going to be a time where you have to get up and lead others, but you don't feel like leading. There's going to be times in your life when you have to stay up and research or look things up a little bit longer when you've already had a long day of giving to other people. This is the reality of us professional and successful women. This is the reality that people don't talk about. So I'm happy to be here today to challenge you all as we open up this discussion to look at how is your personal life spilling over into your business and professional life? Is it causing you to not show up 100%? Is it causing you to show up just a little bit? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you showing up in your dreams and your goals? You know, I'm 51 and I'm not afraid to tell my age, right? Because we're all women here growing together. And at 51, I still have dreams and goals that I want to accomplish. Yes, I've written a book and traveled and spoke to thousands of people, and I still travel and work inside of communities to this day. And I still have dreams and goals that I have to get to. But in order to do that, I have to learn to nourish my mind, my body, and my soul. So my challenge to you that today on this call is to just pick one of those areas, because so often we try to do it all, mind, body, and soul, money, wealth, and spirituality. We try to take it all on at one time. But I'd like to challenge you today, when you leave this call and when we meet back up later on in the year, I want to see some of the things that we have done to nurture our soul, our mind, our body, and not try to do it all at one time. But just take one of those, the one that you feel that you can reach, and start with that. If it's the mind, do some things that challenge your mind. If you have to stretch yourself and wake up a little bit earlier or go to bed a little bit later than everyone else in order to reach some of these goals, then let's do that. Nurture your mind. I made a commitment to myself to just open up my book of Bible verses and inspiration every day. And it's a challenge, you guys. I said for 30 days, I'm going to, before my feet hit the ground, before I scroll on social media, before I respond to a text, I'm going to give to my mind and my spirit with looking at 5 things I'm grateful for before my feet hit the ground. Reading something inspirational to pour back into myself before the rest of the world comes at me and bombards me with their troubles. I've done that. I'm literally on day 7 or 8 for this month. And that is one of the things I'm doing for my mind. So I'm challenging you all to pick one area, your mind, your body, or your soul. Just pick one of those topics and find a creative way to give back to yourself a little bit at a time. As we grow our internal self, our bottom lines will be impacted. Our professional life will be impacted. We will show up different for our families. I just want to acknowledge as I'm wrapping up the fact that yes, we are nurturers. And while we are nurturing everyone else, we have to. It is essential to nurture yourself, give back to yourself. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, a full day if you can. Where are your dreams and goals for 2025? Do you have them written down somewhere? Have you created a personal plan for yourself for 2025? I love all you ladies on this call, and I'm looking forward to have deeper conversations with you. I can go on and on for this hour, but I won't take up this time. I want to make sure I stay on time today, but this is the juicy conversation, you all. I'm excited for the next two ladies that are going to join us, and they're going to unpack sensuality. They're going to unpack our hair and our nutrition and how that's showing up in our life and in our physical bodies. I'm so excited to hear from these ladies and to hear from all of you once we open up these lines. I am grateful for this National Women's Day, and thank you for having me on this show.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you so much for that short but very spicy and to the point presentation. We really appreciate you. Our next speaker is Caleen Diedrick. Caleen is a wellness practitioner with special focus on rehabilitation, personal development, and behavior modification. She is a certified life and relationship coach, motivational speaker, sensuality coach, author, and upcycle artist. She owns and operates 4 businesses, 2 of which are Connect Coaching Services and Fervido. At Connect Coaching Services, she provides professional life and relationship coaching for individuals. She develops and implements wellness programs in organizations and provides business coaching. Fervido is a series of sensual dance classes. I got it right, guys. Sensual dance classes and workshops designed to empower women to fall in love with themselves and harness their sensuality, along with increasing their sexual presence and powers. Her book, Mayhem, Mirth, and Mastery, Memoirs of Single Parenting, chronicles her journey to date as a single parent. It is a real and raw account of the trials and triumphs of motherhood and personal discovery. Her book is a self-help book geared at helping mothers, single mothers in particular, put into perspective their parenting powers, their love relationships, and their personal evolution. Please help me welcome Caleen Diedrick.
Hi, ladies. I'm hoping everyone is feeling good today. I thoroughly enjoyed your conversation just now, Tia, and we'll be piggybacking on one aspect of it to start my presentation. So today I will be talking about accelerating action as the sensual woman. Now, oftentimes when my bio is read, the part that people are familiar with life and relationship coaching, but the part that, have people taking a closer look and have them tantalized is this whole business of being a sensuality coach. Oftentimes people think, oh my gosh, she's a sex coach. What are these things that she's doing? They want to get a better understanding, right? Your work must be very, very exciting. Every day I would want to do what it is that you're doing. And I hasten to say to them, well, that is not my focus completely, right? I focus on the soft skills of being a woman. I find that over the years, we have been divorced from ourselves. We have been scattered through the centuries. We started out as chattel. We were property. We were considered to be property like cow and goat and dog, right? And our only value was our capacity to marry a man and to bear him sons. So we had to have him sons in order to be considered a valuable woman, right? And over the years, this continued, this assault of our physical body and so on. And so what has happened is that we have separated ourselves. There has been a massive disassociation from our personal bodies. So my work as a sensuality coach is getting us back to the space that we can make ourselves, first and foremost, a meditation. I find that as women, we tend to be nurturers of everything and all things, and we leave ourselves in the background. And some way, somehow, there seems to be a badge of honor for taking everybody else, right? Running with everybody else, having everybody else, recognize their full potential, being the strong background behind the man. All of these things we pat our shoulders on while self-abandoning. So my conversation today is, how do we get back? How do we capture this whole business of being the sensual woman? And firstly, creating that divide, because oftentimes the whole business of being a sensuality coach, I have been ostracized because people think it's not okay to talk about sensuality, and you're only talking sex. And we as women have been trained to divorce ourselves from anything that is overtly sexual, because then we don't want the assumption that the things that we have acquired, we got them onwards. Yeah. So there is a way that when we are climbing the corporate ladder, we have embodied our masculine. There is a way that to become the entrepreneur, boss lady, we have separated ourselves from our divine gift, which is our feminine. So what I am saying is this: when we look at this whole business of International Women's Day, I find that when we talk about, empowerment, we leave it in the realm of boss lady and academia. But I want us to understand that we are full beings. We are doing more than bossing, right? We go home and we want to have nurturing relationships with our friends, with our family, more so with our lovers. So I'm going to be talking to us a little bit about how do we get back to the sensual woman? How do we reclaim our birthright? And how do we stand in that position and understand that we have a right to be here in all the capacities that make us female. Every aspect of that is an essential is an essential part of our essence. So I put together a little presentation to make it easier for you to follow me. All right, let me make sure, guys, please forgive me. I am awful with the technology. Awful. All right, let me pull up my presentation. And you can tell me, are you able to see the presentation now? Am I showing it? Anyone can say something to me.
You're
only seeing my face, or are you seeing the slides?
I'm seeing the slide, but it's not in
awesome sauce. Okay. So now I talked about this whole business about the separation from our bodies, right? And the first thing before I get into the presentation, I want to kind of, give us an understanding in terms of what I mean about the sensual woman. First and foremost, it is to understand that sensuality is how we experience the world. We experience the world through our senses. So for those people who have tied sensuality to sex and sexuality, it is important to understand that as a sensual woman, you are better at these things, but they are not one and the same. Okay. So sensuality is firstly self-awareness. It's housed in our bodies. I heard Tia talking a little bit about getting up in the morning and having a whole ritual where she's talking to herself, where she's motivating herself, the affirmations and so on. All of those things are things that we are doing for our physical self, for our minds and so on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the work that we are doing with ourselves, understanding that the sensual woman is attuned to her senses. She has spent a lot of time with self. And I'm going to ask you as I go through the presentation to ask yourself, how much time do you spend with self? We get up and the priority of the day is productivity, productivity, productivity. We are all striving to be our best selves. And the realm is academia. The realm is our entrepreneurial endeavors. But we are not looking at self. We pay a cursory attention to ourselves, but not enough for us to actually harness the power that sensuality brings, right? So in order for us now to fully understand, we need to go right back to the foundation, which is self-love. Now, it's one of those terminologies that we hear every day, and we say to ourselves, okay, but I love myself. I take care of myself. I dress myself properly. I afford myself amazing experiences. But I want us to understand that as a life coach, I recognize that even though we are able to do these things, there is so much that slipped through the cracks. Self-love is more than taking care of your physical body. It is getting to a space that we start to appreciate this vehicle that is taking us through life. I find that a lot of us as women are tortured because we are perpetually comparing ourselves to Beyonce. We're comparing ourselves to what society says ought to be the beauty standards. And if for whatever reason we find ourselves lacking in this department, we are now whipping ourselves over the shoulder because we feel as though we are at a deficit, if that is the case. Understanding who we are and appreciating that this is the vehicle that God gave you to carry you through life changes the topography of everything. There is a confidence that comes when you are at home in this body, whatever the size, whatever the shape, when you are able to look at yourself and say, I am wonderfully made. And how many of us are able to say that? And I'm asking you this question. I want you to sit and think about how many times in your journey, the various phases of your life, did you stop and whip yourself over the back because you weren't light-skinned enough? Your hair wasn't long and curly enough, right? And where did we get these cues that this is the status quo? We're watching TV. We're listening to what it is that people have to say to determine who we are as individuals. And I am saying, as a sensual woman, you disregard all of these things. You make yourself first and foremost a meditation. What do I mean by that? You spend time looking and learning you. Who am I? What are the different things that make me up? And then when you understand who you are, then you only then can you affix a worth that is outside of the roles you occupy in your day-to-day job, right? The roles you occupy, whether or not you are with, you have a significant other and so on. You are a sovereign nation when you know who you are. And it changes the way that you walk into a space. Yeah. So these are some of the things now in terms of your internal validation to get you there. Sensuality begins with self-acceptance and appreciation, encouraging women to focus on what they love about themselves rather than external validation. When you can, I don't even have to go any further than to sit on this second line, encouraging women to focus on what they love about themselves. I have a sensual dance class, and I start the class by asking women to identify 3 things that you love about yourself. Ladies, you would be surprised how women stop. They're looking in the mirror and they're stopped and they're wondering, okay, well, I used to like my breasts, when they were sitting a little higher on my chest. Then there is my legs. I kind of like my legs. The struggle is real. Just trying to identify the parts of you that you like. And as I'm having this conversation, I'm going to ask you again, just to go over this question. What are the parts of your body that you fully appreciate at this point? That you can stand and declare, oh, this is me. And it's perfect. It's good. It's good. So it's getting the woman to the space now that you can appreciate this, because when you appreciate it, then you put a value on it. When you have a value on it, then there is a worth and there is a way that you conduct yourself based on this idea that you have in your mind of your worth. There is a way that you allow people to treat you or not treat you based on your idea of worth. Right. So it's focusing on those things and understanding that we have to do more than paying lip service. We have to sit in it. We have to own it in order to make it ours. I talked a little bit about the mirror work and so on, and the importance of the affirmations, because we were born to parents that we didn't choose. We are born into a society that we didn't choose. And if we are not careful, what society has to say about us impacts us in a negative way. We have to do the job of reclaiming our divinity, of reclaiming the fact that we are perfect as is in this moment. We are all that we need to be right now. Yeah. Now, the other business, I want to talk a little bit more about dropping into our bodies, because when I tell women why it is important to engender this whole business of self-love, and that it starts firstly with our physical self, because again, sensuality is your physical self. It is housed in our physical body. They don't understand what I mean when I say dropping into your body. I came across this quote by Eckhart Tolle, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It says, body awareness not only anchors you in the present moment, it is the doorway out of the prison that is ego. It strengthens the immune system and the body's ability to heal itself. Now, if we were supposed to break this thing down, this whole business of being able to stay in the present moment. Now, I want us to ask ourselves this question. Oh, have you been able to do that? Have you been able to do that? Because I find that we are running, especially business women, we are running 1,000 miles an hour thinking about the next assignment, the next thing that needs to be done, the next thing that we need to, tick off of our checklist and so on. So it is extremely difficult to observe what is happening around us. We spend a lot of money clothing ourselves in beautiful clothing, but do you stop? Outside of the 10 minutes that you spend, spinning around, looking at yourself in the mirror, do you stop long enough to feel this piece of clothing on your skin? Yeah. Do you stop long enough to look at yourself in the mirror? And again, that affirmation to remind yourself, oh my God, I am perfect. And I'm not perfect because of the clothes that I have on. I am perfect because I am wearing these clothes. This dress looks good because I am in it. Right? So when you're dropping into your body, it is staying present to what is currently happening. It is taking note of everything that your sense is pulling in at the moment. What am I eating? What are the things that I enjoy? What is this doing for me in this moment? The smells, the aroma, there is a whole therapy around aroma, the smells and so on, and how that is, has been proven to improve our moods, right? To set the stage for all kinds of different things and so on. How much time do we spend immersing ourselves in these little things? Again, just to remind us that sensuality is slowing down. It's slowing down. It's stopping long enough to feel the breeze running through your hair, right? And there is something very beautiful about a woman who can stop long enough. People see me oftentimes dancing in the rain, and I have brought my daughter into this practice. My grandmother said to me, if you are fortunate enough to get an opportunity to run out in the rain at the first of the month, it means that the month is going to be prosperous. Please understand that once it's the first of the month, for me, it's the first straight to the third of the month, right? If the rain falls, I'm going in the rain. I'm having a full-on dance, and I cannot begin to tell you how people stop and stare at me like this woman is crazy. Why are you in the rain? Why are you not running out of the rain, right? But then something happens when you look at a woman who is comfortable in all the different spaces, who isn't preoccupied with the good opinion of John Public. And that is you embodying, that is you dropping into your body, enjoying all of the different sensations, because God didn't give us these senses, right? If it wasn't for us to get massive fulfillment out of it. Yeah. So The other thing that we need to look at, and I'm trying my very best to stay on time, the other thing that we need to look at is this whole business of self-care. And I heard Tia talk a little bit about it earlier and the different things that, she's asking us to cultivate as it pertains to self-care. And I'm asking you, do you have a self-care regimen outside of going to the hairdresser and getting your toes and nails done? Because most of us think that's self-care. And let me tack on this whole business of going to the gym and working out. So if we check those boxes, well, then, I'm taking care of myself. But I want us to understand that this whole business of self-care it goes deeper than that. One of the things that I talk about is the emotional wellness and the fact that it is something that I find we only pay lip service to. We don't stop long enough to process the things that happened to us. Some of us got touched. Some of us, it's the things that mom and dad, aunties and uncles and teachers said to us that impacted us, that left a mark. And we don't stop long enough to process those things. We are running 1,000 miles an hour trying to cover these things, our pain, with accomplishments, right? Or we do an excellent job. I find that as Caribbean women, one of the things I oftentimes say is that we tuck and roll. Horrendous things happen to us and we tuck and roll. We keep on going. If we didn't die, we keep on going. But we don't stop. We don't unpack these things with someone. We don't ask someone to hold space with us. And all of these things are important for our emotional wellness. So there is becoming aware of the different things, all of your emotions, being able to label what's going on with you. Self-mastery only comes when you can master your emotions and you understand that there are feelings, emotion, they are moving. So how I feel this morning should not dictate how I execute all the other things that I need to get done. I need to sit, process. Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I grieving something? And most of us don't. We get caught up in our emotions and we run from place to place. We're not quite certain what is happening and so on. But we first have to stop and spend some time looking at self, because that is a huge part of becoming your meditation, understanding the ebbs and flows of your feelings, being compassionate enough with yourself when you cannot go further. One of the best things I learned as a yoga teacher is this whole business of ahimsa, and pretty much is a Sanskrit word for compassion, having compassion for self. How many of us are compassionate for ourselves? This love that we are chasing people, our lovers, our children, our family, our friends, all of these people that, we want to pour out all of this amazing love on them. Have we stopped long enough to pour that love on us? Can you imagine if all the love that we are busy spreading, all the keep and care that we are giving to all and sundry, if we gave ourselves a fraction of that, who we would be energetically, physically, spiritually, who we would become if we were able to focus on those things. And then finally get to the space that we are able to communicate with someone how it is that I feel. And why it is important that if it is that you're going to take up space with me, that you ought to be able to honor where it is that I am. And if you cannot honor it, it is to extricate yourself from it. Yeah. So when we look at it, I want us to stop looking at self-care solely from the space of manicure here and all of these other little things, the external things, but to actually spend a little bit more time looking at our internal selves, purging our emotional pain. I find that as women, we walk around with an inordinate amount of pain, which is the reason why I would have made reference to this business of tucking and rolling. If it didn't kill you, you just keep on going. And you keep on going and you keep on going because the bills need to be paid, food need to be on the table, and all of this stuff. You don't have time to sit and process what is happening. But the truth is, our pain, our traumas never go away until we stop and fix them. And we cannot become all that we are intended to be until we stop and fix them. And we certainly cannot become this light and airy being until we have discarded the heaviness of the pain and the things that people put on us. Yeah. So the other bit of now tapping into your sensual self is your creativity. I recently became a upcycle artist as recent as 3 years ago. I moved to the beach again as part of my self-care because I find that living in the city isn't conducive to my to my state of mind. Yes. So I moved out to the out to the coastline. And so I have the beach in my backyard and recognize I've always been a nature lover and started collecting driftwood and but out of this desire to create my business, Shelley. No, it brings you joy and so on. And I was only able to access that portion of myself because I slowed down, because I stopped long enough, because I came off of the rat wheel, slow down long enough to start appreciating all the beauty that is around me. And I am encouraging you as a woman to do the same. It is the only way that we are able now to access all that is available to us. The next business of becoming your sensual self is understanding that we have to dismiss what it is that society says. From the beginning of time, society has been spending an inordinate amount of time trying to tell the woman who she is and how she ought to navigate herself. And unfortunately, a lot of us have joined the line and drank the soup, and we firmly believe what it is that society says. So if we find that we are not in alignment and the tribe wasn't able to whip us back in alignment, we start to question ourselves. We feel discombobulated and so on. But I'm going to suggest today that you do one act of rebellion, something that is people gonna step back in their chair and say, oh, wait, hold on now. She didn't just do that, did she? One act of rebellion and see how you feel at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, sensuality is a sense. It is an energy. It cannot be encapsulated by your body. It cannot be encapsulated by your age. I am 50, and persons have said to me, why am I still doing my dance class? All of this gyrating and carrying on and so on. Maybe you ought to have a younger person, showcase this whole business of, sensual dancing. And I am saying, well, why? Because society says you're only valuable as a woman when you are young and thin. Yeah. And if it is that you fall out of this now, once you reach 50 and so on, you're supposed to have on big boxy clothes to be taken seriously and so on. You have divorced this whole business of your sensual self. You've settled down. You had the children. They graduate. They're gone to university. So you've done your job. So right now, you're supposed to be preparing yourself for old age. And I'm saying, listen to me now. Discard that. Buy the little dress. Yes. Show a little cleavage. Yes. Show a little legs. And fall in love with how it makes you feel. This is your act of rebellion, whatever that looks like for you. I'm encouraging you to do that before the year finish. Do something that takes you outside of your comfort zone and do it publicly. Do it publicly. And you're going to send the message to yourself first and foremost that you have a right to take up space. And taking up space is more than all your degrees, all your amazing accolades. And I'm not taking anything away from that because you worked to get those things. However, it isn't who you are, is it? And if you ask yourself who you are and all you can come up with, well, I am Dr. So-and-so, nothing else. I'm the mom of these 2 children, nothing else. I own and operate a business, nothing else. And you sit there, well, that's me. That's me in a nutshell. But is it? Is it? And if your answer stops there, I'm encouraging you to go deeper. I'm encouraging you to do a little bit more work to start that process today. That this is not just us having this conversation, but you saying to yourself, I am determined to become all God intended me to be. I want to see it. I'm going to my grave empty. then and only then are you able now to attract the experiences that you say you want. Then you're able to attract the love exchange that you say you want. I find that I work with a lot of corporate women, and I find that the place that they're hemorrhaging the most is in their love relationship. And I say to them, when I spend some time with them, they are divorced from their sensual self. And I walk them through a process that have them recognize what it is that I am seeing. So I'm going to pull you around to take you to my vantage point and show you, whilst you have done an amazing job making these things happen, you have left your femininity behind. Now, with all things that have to do with accelerating action, we must get back to the space that we fall back into our feminine and understand that it is our God-given right. All the things that we feel, our desire to express ourselves through clothes, through, our hair, all of this thing, we have a right to take up space. And I'm encouraging you, because everything that you're looking for happens when you have made yourself a meditation. And then from there, you exude the light that is shining when you have managed to integrate all the different sides of yourself. When people look at my Instagram page, they're met with, they're saying to themselves, I'm not quite sure where to place this woman. And how is she, on one hand, a businesswoman? She's a life coach. She's a sensuality coach, but she's so expressive. There's so much that's going on this page. And what I am saying to them is this: my page embodies who I am. We are fluid. I am not just a businesswoman. I am not just a mom. I am not just a business coach. I'm not just an entrepreneur. I am a sensual woman. And as a sensual woman, I'm taking you on a walk into my life. I spend a lot of time in nature. I am very at home in my body. I celebrate my body. And I take women on a journey, self-discovery as well. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping that, this was beneficial for you and that you are able, to get something from it. Blessings.
Caleen, thank you for that, for sharing. I mean, that was really touching in terms of, and factual, in terms of how we go about our lives every day. So thank you so much for that. At this point, we're going to invite Dr. Hyacinth Oates to now address us. Hold on 1 second. Dr. Hyacinth Oates is Jamaica's first doctor of trichology. And a lot of you might hear the word trichology and say, what's trichology? Trichology is a study and practice of resolving hair and scalp disorders. Dr. Oates is also a board-certified trichologist. In October 2003, she received her degree of trichology from the International Institute of Trichology in Alabama, USA. She's a certified member of the International Association of Trichologists Australia. She has researched the topic and founded the International Institute of Trichology in Alabama, where she proceeded to read for her PhD in trichology. 3 years after defending her dissertation, Dr. Oates launched the country's first trichology hair and scalp clinic on Westminster Road in St. Andrew. That clinic has now evolved and now operates under the brand name TrichoTherapy Hair Center. Through her clinic, she offers consultation, diagnosis, and solutions for different types of hair loss, microscopic analysis for identifying hair and scalp disorders, mineral analysis, and aromatherapy are used to improve hair growth. Dr. Oates did her early training at the Monica Dwyer's Academy in England and later furthered her studies at Wilfred School of Cosmetology in the USA Advanced Training under Sal Fodero. That's the world champion hairstylist. She's a trained teacher and holds a diploma in teacher education from BTDI. She's also the former president of the National Association of Hairdressers and Cosmetologists. And that is the body that governs the cosmetology industry in Jamaica. Dr. Oates has a passion for hair, and you will see as she comes to you today to speak about the impact of hair on your confidence. Help me welcome Dr. Hyacinth Oates.
It's still morning. Yes, we still have a few minutes to go to morning. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here to talk about a topic that deeply impacts women's empowerment. The power of hair in our confidence and overall wellness. Hair is more than just strand on our head. It carries cultural significance, emotional weight, and is often tied to our self-esteem. As women, we jiggle multiple roles: mothers, professionals, caregivers, entrepreneurs, and through it all, our personal confidence plays a key role in how we navigate life. Today, we'll explore how hair health is connected to confidence, mental health, and self-empowerment. Hair is a symbol of confidence. From a young age, many of us are taught that our hair is a crown, a reflection of our identity and self-expression. Whether straight, curly, natural, or styled, hair plays a powerful role in how we feel about ourselves. Studies have shown that women with healthy hair often report feeling more confident in social and professional settings. Well, as you know, a bad hair day can actually affect mood and self-esteem, making us feel less put together. Hair loss, thinning, or damage can deeply impact emotional well-being, often leading to anxiety or self-consciousness. When we feel good about our hair, we radiate confidence, and confidence is the foundation of empowerment. The link between hair health and wellness. Good hair health is not just about beauty. It reflects our overall physical and mental wellness. Nutritional impact. Our hair thrive on balanced diet rich in protein, vitamins like biotin and vitamin D, and minerals, iron and zinc. Poor nutrition can lead to weak, brittle hair and even hair loss. Stress and hair, and we hear this all the time, I'm sure. Chronic stress can trigger condition like telogen effluvium, which is a stress-induced shedding, or worsened scalp condition like dandruff and psoriasis. Stress management techniques. Well, here we go again. We need to meditate. We need to exercise. And self-care routine, which we just heard about, help maintain healthy hair. Hormonal health. Women face unique hormone changes during pregnancy, menopause, or conditions like PCOS, which can directly affect hair thickness and growth. Keeping our hormones balanced through a healthy lifestyle, proper hydration, and regular mental checkup is key. Taking care of our hair isn't just about vanity. It's a form of self-care and self-respect. Embracing our diversity and self-love. Again, we have to mention all of that because we're speaking about the person. True empowerment comes from owning our natural beauty. Whether that means wearing our natural curls, rocking a short haircut, or experimenting with protective styles. In some culture, women are pressured to fit certain hair standards. But empowerment is about embracing what makes us unique. Natural hair movements around the world have helped women feel liberated from unrealistic beauty norms and embrace their heritage. Whether you choose to wear wigs, locks, braids, or go bald, your hair should be a reflection of who you are, not society's expectation. When we accept our hair in all its norms, we inspire the next generation to do the same. Hair as a tool for empowerment. The way we care for our hair reflects how we care for ourselves. A healthy mindset, good nutrition, and embracing our unique beauty contributes to both our inner and outer confidence. So today, I encourage you, treat your hair with love. Let it reflect your strength and wear it like the crown it truly is. Because when a woman feels good about herself, she is unstoppable. Yes, thank you.
Dr. Oates, we thank you so much for that short but very spicy presentation. And we all know what it is when our hair, as she said, when we are not having a good hair day. And Dr. Oates was very modest in her presentation, but I must tell you that she specialized in the treatment of alopecia. And that we know as women, you know, when something like that happens, or as we get into menopause and we lose our hair, how difficult it is for us to face the world, to get up in the morning, to look in that mirror, to face our loved ones and our families. It's very difficult. So we are here to assist, and Dr. Oates, that's what she specializes in. And T, I think, was the one who had touched on her own personal experience of how stress impacted the loss of her hair.
Right.
And how it made her feel. So we get up every day and we're busy. I myself have had that experience where at one point in my life, after going through a series of trauma, I lost the back of my hair. All the hair at the back of my head actually went. And that's how I met Dr. Oates. And thankfully today it was restored. Thank you all for being here this morning. I'm going to open the floor to any questions before we close off this morning? Anyone wants to ask any question from any of the three panelists that have presented or would make a comment? We now open the floor to take those. Just indicate by a show of your hand and we will call on you. All right, Hillary, you can go ahead.
So good morning, everyone, or afternoon it is now. Good afternoon, everyone. It's not a question, but I just want to say thanks to the three presenters. The information was on point. And for those persons who might not be aware of some of the situations that were presented, I know that, they would have garnered some, information on those points. So I want to say that I deeply appreciate what was presented, and I want to say thanks to the presenters, and may we all appreciate what was presented, appreciate each other, and this will better help us to appreciate who we are. Because when we do our own introspection based on the presentations that were done today, I am sure that each and every one of us will be able to zero in on something that maybe would have missed out or we have overlooked on our daily, routine, and that who knows what that can do for us in the future. So thanks again to our presenters. Job well done.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Hillary. We now go to Rachel.
Good afternoon. I would also like to extend a heartfelt thank you from Trinidad and Tobago. I just happened upon this on my Instagram and I shared it with a lot of my friends in Trinidad, and everybody said it was interesting. I saw one other person, let me just call her out, Alison Joseph Patrick, also from Trinidad, and it was very informative. I hope you all have more. I heard Tia Ross mention that there's another one at the end of the year, so I will begin to follow this Instagram page to get more information. It was very informative, very inspirational, very, opportune time as well, being International Women's Day, to help uplift women. And the things that was said is so true about being angry at the office. You see it all the time. Sometimes people are angry and you're wondering what it is. And it does make sense that, your personal life would sometimes spill into your work life. And we have to be aware of what is happening and to have self-care and self-love. So thank you, ladies, for taking the time off this morning to have this forum.
Thank you for
Thank you.
attending. Yes.
And thank you. We really, really appreciate those comments. Any other? I don't see any more hands at this.
Hello, good
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
Can you hear me, moderator?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning,
Go ahead.
everyone. I
I'm
just want
saying.
to say thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Dr. Oates, and the other two panelists. It was really, truly the perfect day to have this discussion. The other thing I need to know, where can I get the sensual adult dance class? I am interested because I am trying to center myself as best as I can. Even when I work on my clients, I need to be centered. And as I'm listening while I'm working, I was just so present to all the delivery that I came across. And I learned so much today. And I want to say thank you again. And it was an awesome day spending with all these beautiful women. I really appreciate you guys for doing this today.
Okay. Can I jump in?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to answer that, is Althea?
Yes.
Hi, Althea. I think I'm hosting a class tomorrow, but I think you can touch base with, can she touch base with you, Sharon, for my contact
Yes, I
information?
can.
Please. Yes. Okay, so you can just talk to Sharon and she'll give you my contact information and we can talk from there. Okay?
Yes, thank you
Blessings.
so much.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all. for coming, for stopping by. And as Tia said, we will be doing some more of this. The recording also we'll be making available through our other social media pages. So you will be able to see clippings from it. The other thing is that mark your diaries for June 21st, 2025. We are planning both an in-person and maybe online as well, but we will share more information as we get closer to that. I saw Tia dropped off. But so what we're saying, yes, we recognize that, as women, as professional women, the difficulties that we have in managing, in being present for ourselves and for the demands that society places on us. We have the gender stereotypes. How do we find work-life balance? The double standards of how women treat women or men treat women in the work environment. So many things that we have to navigate around every day. So we really, really want to not make this for today, but to continue the conversation so that we all can contribute to the change of our women, especially our younger sisters, and that are our daughters that are coming up now, and the guidance and direction that they need to ensure that they become empowered women, not just empowered in their career, but empowered as women, as total holistic women. So we really, really appreciate. Hillary, your hand is still up. Do you want to say something more?
It must be the old hand.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming it's an old hand. So at this point, we want to again wish you all a very happy and wonderful International Women's Day. And as you go about the rest of your day, please remember, take some time for you. This day is not about your achievements, but it is about you as a woman. Have a wonderful and blessed day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Yes.